Remember when we were young, breaking every rule they made. Never changed us. It made it would come chasing us. We find a new place to hide out, making our plans to break.
Hello and welcome to the Houston Eye Hockey live broadcast here from the MTA Sports Arena in beautiful Palmer, Alaska. I'm joined here by my color commentator, Todd Smolden. How's it going today, Todd?
Good.
Tonight, Houston takes on Palmer for their 4A matchup, their first 4A matchup of the week. They play Service tomorrow at Big Lake. Earlier today, had the opportunity to interview Noah Gillespie. Had an assist last game against the Glen Allen Kenny Lake Panthers. He set up William Mackey with his first goal of the year. So let's see what Noah had to say about today's game. Here with Noah Gillespie, had an assist in the most recent game against Glen Allen. He got Will Mackey his first goal. Been playing solid D for a while now. How you doing today, Noah?
Doing great. Looking forward to the game.
So what do you care to elaborate on this last weekend against Glen Allen, the Wasilla game, senior night? How'd all that go?
Wasilla game, we played extremely well. Closest game I've ever played. That was very fun. And then Glen Allen, first game, a little rocky start. Still finished strong. Second game, much better. We played a lot better that game.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You win the second game by a score of 7-0. Couple great moments came out of that. What do you think that we need to do tonight to get the win over Palmer?
Just play solid like we did in the weekend. Just forecheck right, run the plays. Power play is a big part of this. If we get any penalties, penalty kill as well.
All right. Well, thanks, Noah. Good luck today.
Yep.
So that brings us into our 3 key points for the game. Key point number 1 is going to be dump and chase. Houston doing very well lately when they've been dumping and chasing the puck. Palmer, a tough 4A opponent. They're going to really need to get it deep and work the Palmer Moose down low. Benches are about even tonight. He's been coming off a couple games where they had the advantage of having the deep bench. Tonight they're going to be against a team of about even strength. Key point number 2 is going to be physical play. Houston does very well when they take the body, and it's going to be important that they come out early tonight and start taking the body, of course, doing it in a smart way and staying out of the box.
Yeah, they really need to put some pressure right away on Palmer. They definitely have quality skaters, fast skaters, strong skaters on Houston's squad, and they need to kind of use that momentum that they had with that big score differential against Glen Allen and come out tough and smart, play good hockey.
Key point number 3 is going to be intensity. The Hawks have had a very strong last week. They're here in the last week of the regular season. They come out with the overtime loss against Wasilla. They have 2 strong games against Glen Allen. They look to continue it here against Palmer. It's going to be big going into this weekend against Monroe Catholic.
Yeah, and you know, I would say that there could be a little let up after a lopsided score against Glen Allen, but this is a 4A school. It's a Valley team. There's nothing 3A Houston likes more than to have a competitive game and even put a whooping on a 4A school if they can. So I expect them to come out really with some great intensity, and we'll see what happens.
Stats leaders right now, Reed Humphrey still at the top with 33 points. Aiden Ottengon and Kai Kingery tied at 20. Kai, again, is going to be tonight and tomorrow.
my mind. Baby's got a babysitter, a cocaine dealer, stack up the money now. I'd rather be a hustler than a clown. When the world will be polluted by the ashes of the sun, ain't nobody gonna tell me where to run. If there is a God, she probably wants me to explore the universe. And if life is just a ride, it should be fun. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. My heart is going bang bang when I sing for you. I live for the moment now, being in a one subconscious mind. Maybe I'm a one-trick pony, but I ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, honey. Maybe I'm a master of the skies. When the world will be polluted by the ashes of the sun, ain't nobody gonna tell me where to run. If there is a God, she probably wants me to explore the universe. And if life is just a ride, it should be fun. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. Go to sleep in December, waking up and it's summer. Liberation of my life, moving into the light. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up.
Welcome back to the Houston High Hockey live broadcast here from the NTA Event Center in Palmer, Alaska. Let's look at our starting lineups for the night. Starting for the Palmer Moose, number 25, RJ Avazak. Number 37, Noah Keel. Number 48, David Scully. Number 3, Nathan Appel. Number 87, Layton Dunham. And starting in net tonight for Palmer is number 31, TJ O'Rourke. Starting for Houston, at forward, number 88, Aiden Ottengana. At forward, number 10, Tyler Shivers. At forward, number 3, Riley Scott. On defense, number 59, Reed Humphreys. On defense, number 2, Noah Gillespie. And starting in net tonight for the Houston Hawks is number 1, Riley Bolander. Both teams finishing the preliminaries, and they're getting ready to face off at center ice. And I'm looking for a really close game here from both teams.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really competitive game. Palmer has a lot to play for at senior night, so it should be a pretty exciting game. Hopefully it'll be intense, good hard hitting, but smart and fair hockey.
Houston having their best weeks of the season right now. They look to continue the momentum with a close game against Palmer and hopefully walk out of here with the W. Tyler Shivers here taking the face-off against David Scully, and Aspen drops the puck. It goes back to Noah Keel on defense, and he passes up. Gets over to Humphreys on the blue line. Humphreys steps into the neutral zone and tries to pass up. It goes back to Keel. Keel throws it down the boards. It goes deep into the Houston end. Noah Gillespie there to dig it out. He passes. It's intercepted on the boards by Dunham. In the skates now with Tyler Shivers. It goes back behind the net. Humphreys is there to pick it up, and now he's coming out of the Houston end with some speed. Steps to the middle, around the Palmer forward, and deep into the zone on the near side. Wheels around, centering attempt. It goes up to Shivers. Shivers fires and deflects off the goaltender. Play broken up, sent out to the point. Noah Gillespie keeps it in for the Hawks. Down into the corner. Ottengana fighting there for it with Appel. To the near side. Keel picks it up. Now moving out of the Palmer zone, he passes up the boards, kept in by Humphreys. Deflects off of Scully, and Palmer now moves the other way with it. In the neutral zone, Palmer deep into Houston's end, fires one over the net. On the far side, and now to the near, Nix passes up to Isaiah Squires. Squires into Palmer's end, across the blue, flips it down into the corner. He's there to dig it out, goes behind the net. Squires fighting for it. Tied up there with Elliott Welch. Goes up to Rogers. Rogers to the middle off a skate. It deflects away. Picked up and thrown out by Hooks. Humphreys will stop it with the skate. Back into the zone. Fires and it deflects off of O'Rourke's glove and out of play.
A great job by Squires there. He did not give up on that puck at all. He was fighting three players off as he took it into the zone, got it dumped down in deep, and then worked hard against the boards. And his line mate, Rogers, picked it up, and they almost had an opportunity there.
13:39 left in the first. Tyler Shivers takes the face-off against Darian Wilson and wins it back to Humphreys. Humphreys dumps one to the far corner. Otengana moves in on it as Welch picks it up for the Moose. Passes up and goes out of the zone now. Humphreys will have to chase it down in his own zone. Beats off the icing call. He's got it behind his net and passes out to Otengana. Otengana to Shivers. Shivers into the neutral zone. Across the red. It's a 2-on-2. Dumps it into the near side. Riley Scott's the first one there. Hit into the boards by Palmer. Goes behind the net to the far side. Welch fighting Otengana. Knocks him into the boards. Scott will pick it up to Shivers in the middle. Fires one and they score! Tyler Shivers puts one on the board for Houston. They take the early 1-0 lead.
Great play by the entire line there. Scott went behind the net. Got it to Otengana, who centered it for Tyler Shivers and in the net. Fantastic play by the line.
Otengana forechecks hard. He digs it to Riley Scott. Scott passes right to Shivers.
Oh, it was Scott.
And they put it away. Houston wins the faceoff. Now they move into the Palmer end. Thrown off the boards by the defense. It goes back to Shivers. Shivers in the corner with it. Centering attempt. Otengana, he loses it off the stick. Palmer moves the other way. It's Thiessen with the puck into the neutral zone. He dumps it down, and he didn't make it across the red, so we're going to have an icing on Palmer.
You know, now Palmer might be a little bit surprised, but they should have looked at the score that when Wasilla and Houston played just recently.
Looks like we're going to have a penalty against Houston, though. It's going to be Aiden Otengana going to the box with an elbow, and I didn't see that one. It must have been behind the play. Otengana's a little guy. It's hard for him to get his elbows up into anyone.
Yeah, I think that's the second penalty that's been called on him this year.
So Houston loses the faceoff now as they're on the penalty kill. Palmer dumps it into the zone. Scully in the corner, centers. It's off a skate. Picked up by Isaiah Squires and iced down to the Palmer end. In the corner, Welch will have it behind his own net now. Holds it there and now steps to the near side. He's got Scully ahead of him. Elects to pass across to Thiessen. Rogers there to try to break it up. Palmer sends it back, and Reed Humphreys will dump it back down the ice. In the near side now, O'Rourke stops it for Welch. Moves back to the near side. Passes up the ice. Keel's there. It's in his skates. He knocks it back to his own end. Now regroups for Palmer. Welch moving up the near side. Into the neutral zone, across the red, into Houston's end. Into the corner now. Wheels around the net. Looking for a pass. He fires a shot on Bolander, and Bolander makes a save with the dome. Iced down by Humphreys now. 1:04 left in the Palmer power play. In the corner, passed across to Welch. He holds it there. Now stops again, and Tyler Shivers will pick it up. Shivers behind the goal line, knocked off the puck by Welch. Welch recollects, steps to the far side, and sends it up the boards. Humphreys will stop in the neutral zone and flip it back the other way. Just 41 seconds left in the Palmer power play. Thiessen up the boards to Humphreys. Humphreys ices it down, off another 10 seconds from the Palmer power play. Welch behind his own net, steps to the far side. Riley Scott forechecking, gets past him up to Abzak, and now out of the zone. Hayden Shivers dumps it in off a skate. Thiessen back to Welch, and now up the boards. Palmer to Moore in the neutral zone. Moore across the blue line for Palmer into Houston's D end. Knocked off the puck there with a hard hit from Blake Rogers. Palmer dumps it back down into the zone. Armstrong on the point, gets it down to Appel, and Bolander is going to freeze things there right in front. And Palmer's power play will just expire there as Bolander covers it up.
Yeah, Palmer got a good opportunity there. They didn't give up on the puck and kept working hard and got a little opportunity there at the end of the power play.
10:45 left in the first period. Isaiah Squires will take the face-off against Moore. One back by Houston. Hayden Shivers sends it around the near side. It leaves the the Houston end. Armstrong will pick it up in the neutral zone. Intercepted by Gillespie. And now flipped up the boards. Nix collects into Palmer off defensive zone. In the corner with it. Centers it and broken up by the defense. Armstrong on the boards will send it down the ice. It's going to go just past Bolander, and we'll have another icing on Palmer.
You know, Noah Gillespie just makes some excellent plays. You know, most people wouldn't see it if they really didn't study hockey much, but that play on the weak side, rather than going strong side, almost set up a scoring opportunity there.
Tyler Shivers now taking the faceoff against David Scully. Scully wins it back for Palmer. Riley Scott in the corner with it. 2 Hawks skaters and 2 Palmer skaters fighting for it. It goes out to the hash marks. Dumped back in by Shivers. Armstrong steps by Scott and now passes up the ice to Keel at center ice. He's got a 2-on-2 here. He fires one and Bolander makes a save. In the corner now. Passed around by Wilson. Scott knocks Keel into the boards on the near side. Keel still has the puck, however, eventually knocked off the stick to Scully. Scully tries to center. It's broken up by Tyler Shivers. Armstrong stops it on the point. Fires one into the skates of Noah Gillespie. Shivers now collects and sends it out to Appel. Tries to dump it the other way. Picked up on the blue. We're going to have an offsides against Palmer, though. They're going to say Scully was just inside that blue line.
Just about a skate.
Neutral zone face-off now as the Hawks' second line, Squires centering Nix and Rogers.
Now, Palmer's intensity has picked up a little bit since that goal was scored.
Almost shocked them back into playing. They looked a little lackadaisical out there in the first couple minutes. Passed around to the far side. Humphreys will pick it up on his own hash mark. Humphreys smashes one of the Palmer skaters down to the ice, and now Nix has it, and he's offsides as he tried to make a play at the blue line. You never want to do that. That's how you end up with offsides. Isaiah Squires comes into the zone there. And he thinks Nix is going in, and Nix cuts instead to the middle.
Makes a move at the blue line. I tell you, there's not too many people who want to run into the Humphreys train over there on the far side of the boards.
That was Jack Matlock who tried to hit Humphreys, and Humphreys just stands him up. And he's taking a bit of time to get off the ice now. As Isaiah Squires will take the face-off against Vazak. Houston dumps it in, and Palmer just as quickly dumps it out. Squires fighting for it on the red line. Dumped back to Nix, and Nix flips it down into the zone. Goes behind the Palmer net. Welch on the far side now. Passed up to Vazak. Play intercepted. Noah Gillespie dumps it back in. To the near side now. Nix is the first one there. He passes around. Vazak's going to pick it up on the far side and flip it to Gillespie. Gillespie gets stepped past, but then Ottengana knocks it back into the zone. Right to Isaiah Squires, who picks it up on the blue and fires one on net. O'Rourke hits it off to the side, but Ottengana beats all 3 of the Palmer skaters in the zone. Passes to Humphreys in the middle. Humphreys has knocked off the puck, however. Palmer will collect. It's Keel. He passes out to Vazak in the neutral zone. Into the Hawks' end. Poked away from him by Hayden Shivers. Recollected by Keel. Passed down behind the net. Centering attempt hits the back. Now Scully and Riley Scott fighting for it on the near side. 3 Hawk skaters in the corner, but Keel ends up with it and shoots one that's deflected up and out. 8:22 left in the first.
Yeah, I think we'll have a face-off inside the Hawks' defensive zone here.
We should. One of the Hawk skaters gets their stick on it as it deflects out, so play's going to be inside the Hawks zone still. Hawks up by a score of 1-0 here in the first. Darian Wilson will take it against Tyler Shivers. And Shivers wins it back to Humphreys. Humphreys up the boards to Riley Scott. Scott to Tyler Shivers. Shivers in the neutral zone. Tries to flip it in. It's into Nealis. Now Shivers dumps it back behind the net. On the far side is Thiessen. He flips it out, but it's intercepted by Scott. Picked up by Hayden Shivers on the point. Now dumped back into the Palmer end. Ottengana pokes it away. O'Rourke will send it behind the net, however. Palmer recollects. Passes up the near side. That's going to be number 42 of Palmer. Nathan Hooks fighting for it with Scott. It eventually makes its way up to Humphreys. Humphreys steps to the middle. Still has it and dumps it back in. Ottengana fighting for it in the corner. Now Palmer tries to dump it out. Kept in by Hayden Shivers. Palmer then recollects and carry it into the neutral zone. Isaiah Squires will pick it up for the Hawks. Dumps it into the Palmer end. O'Rourke stops it behind his own net. And JP Nix will pick it up. He's got Isaiah Squires in front. He fires one and he scores! JP Nix with a centering pass that sneaks past the far side. On O'Rourke, the Hawks take a 2-0 lead.
A fantastic play by JP Nix. He hustled into the zone, took a different route, not through the goalie, but on the other side of the goalie, picked up the puck, skated into the on the far side, and just tucked it right into the goalpost.
Yeah, Rourke kind of gets caught out there behind his net, and JP Nix picks it up quickly, beats the Palmer defenseman, and just fires one on net. And, you know, when you do that, good things happen. 7:22 left in the first. Houston up by 2. Gillespie back on his own blue, passes out to Rogers. Rogers deflects to Squires. Now Squires moves into the zone, poked away by Armstrong. Squires fires one that goes behind the net. Nix on the near side. Up to Hayden Shivers. Shivers off the skates of one of the Palmer forwards. Now he recollects on the red line. Shivers passes out to Isaiah Squires. Squires to Nix. Nix to Rogers. Rogers splits the D. Tried to go for the middle, but he's yanked down on the play. Nix will pick it out of the corner for the Hawks. Centering attempt. Gets poked to Gillespie. Now back to Armstrong for Palmer. He carries it to the neutral zone, but Tyler Shivers is there, and he'll send it back down into the Palmer end. Behind his own net, David Moore picks it up for the Moose. Passes out to Brooks. Brooks into the neutral zone, poked away by Ottengana. Ottengana back to Hayden Shivers as the Hawks regroup. Back up to Ottengana in the neutral zone. Picked up there by Riley Scott. Scott centers, but there's no one there but Palmer, and they now pass it out of their own end. Keel with it on the boards. To Tyler Shivers, who picks it off, and now tries to pass up the ice to Ottengana. Ottengana splits the D. He's on a 1-on-0 with O'Rourke. Fires one, and it deflects over the net. What a save by Palmer. Armstrong behind his own net fighting for it. Picked up by Ottengana. Ottengana fires one, and another save by O'Rourke. Isaiah Squires moving in, gets poked away. Scully on the hash mark moves out of his own zone. He's got a 3-on-2 here for the Moose. Into Houston's end, elects to chip it down. He beats Gillespie to the puck. Back out, but Isaiah Squires picks it off, and here come the Hawks. Rogers tries to pass one off his stick, but it gets deflected to Palmer. They send it back in. Humphreys with some time here as he steps to the near side. Up the boards and into the neutral zone. Marinello passes it out, and Ivazak has it on the blue. Fires one, and Bolander with a nice glove save. Poked up to Rogers on the hash marks. Isaiah Squires comes in, but it gets centered to Keel. Keel fires one, deflected off of Gillespie's stick, right in front. Keel with it. He fires one, and it's deflected away from the net. Back in front, deflected away again. A shot saved by Reed Humphreys, who stops it, and they send it down the ice. A flurry of chances for Palmer, but the Houston defense stays strong. 5:16 left in the first. Sent off the glass into the neutral zone. Ivazak centers to Hooks. He fires one that's deflected up, and Bolander knocks it out of the air. Right in front, and now Hayden Shivers knocks it back to Humphreys. Humphreys in his own zone, flips it down the ice, and that's going to be on net. No icing. O'Rourke will freeze it as Riley Scott coming in, and we'll have a stoppage in play with 4:53 left. What a flurry of chances for Palmer, but between Bolander and the Houston defense, they keep Palmer scoreless.
Great job by Palmer there. Really very intense right in front of the net. The Hawks defense was looking for those rebounds and were able to clear it away, but great opportunity for Palmer there.
Tyler Shivers loses it back, and Nellis will pass it around to the far side. Waiting for it is Hayes, who chips it out of the Palmer end. And now Tyler Shivers back covering defense, knocks it up, and Houston recovers it in their own zone. Chipped up the boards, back to the Palmer D. Send it down the ice, and Gillespie will pick it up on the dot in the Houston end. Passed out to Tyler Shivers. Shivers to Ottengana. Ottengana on the red. Tries to chip it through. Goes off a leg. Hooks is going to pick it up in the neutral zone for Palmer. Pass out to Hayes. Hayes dumps it into the Houston end behind the net to the far side. Hayden Shivers passes up the boards to Blake Rogers. Rogers to Isaiah Squires, and now here come the Hawks. A possible 2-on-1. Squires steps past Palmer. Steps on a backhand and fires one that goes behind the net. Squires on the near side now. Tries to pass up the boards. Ends up off a skate. He recollects and fires one. Weird deflection, and O'Rourke with a nice save. Wilson to the far side. Reed Humphreys picks it up, keeps it in the zone for the Hawks. Down to Rogers. Can't get a handle on it. Noah passes to the far side. Gillespie steps in, keeps it in for the Hawks. Centers one and stays behind the net. In the corner now as the Hawks fight for it. Rogers is there. Gets chipped past him to Nix on the point. Nix tries to pass down. It goes past the stick of Gillespie. Wilson will pick it up in his own corner. He flips it out into the netting. We'll have a stoppage in play and a defensive zone face-off for the Moose.
Yeah, they got a little crossed up there. JP Nix was playing defense for Noah Gillespie because Gillespie had spent about 30 seconds in the zone and actually had an opportunity to hit the puck off the goalie's back and into the net. And then we had basically 3 defensemen and no one to pass to on the boards.
3:30 left. Houston wins the face-off. Reed Humphreys dumps it in for the Hawks. Tyler Shivers will dig it out of the corner. behind the net, being pressured by the Palmer defense. Scott comes in to help. Otengana ends up with it on the far side. Back to Tyler Shivers. Shivers steps up the boards, knocked off his stick by Armstrong. In the skates of Armstrong now, Shivers digs it out, centering back to Shivers in the corner. And now Palmer sends it away from the net. It's Matlock on the boards. He steps to the neutral zone, past to Brooks. In the skates of Brooks, and he's knocked off the puck by Riley Scott. Otengana on the forecheck, and now he picks it up right in the slot, in his skates. And O'Rourke knocks it away from the net. Matlock and Squires fighting for it on the far side. And Otengana comes in. Goes out to Nix in the high slot. He steps past the Palmer skater, fires, and a nice leg pad save by O'Rourke. Isaiah Squires picks it up on the far side for the Hawks. In the Palmer end. On the hash marks. Holds it in his skates. Fighting for it is Nix now. 3 Palmer skaters that eventually gets sent to the slot where Rogers will try to dig it out. He's unsuccessful, and Brook dumps it the other way. Hayden Shivers sends it up the ice, intercepted by Darian Wilson. Wilson into the zone for Palmer. Sent to the near side now. Reed Humphreys fighting for it. Back to Scully. Sent out of the zone now. Riley Scott will pick it up for Houston. Passes to Reed Humphreys. Humphreys coming in. He's got 2 defense to beat. Steps to the middle now. He's got a chance for a shot. He fires and he rings it off the crossbar. Great chance for the Hawks. Just doesn't quite connect. Kept in by Tyler Shivers. Shivers gets it poked away from him. Sent back to Hayden Shivers. Shivers across the ice, but it's going to be picked up by Keel. Keel back to his defenseman. Sent down the ice, and Hayden Shivers back with the puck. Reed Humphreys now across to Hayden Shivers. Shivers back to Humphreys. Humphreys on his own blue. Tries to pass up to Shivers. Doesn't quite hold on to it. Vazak carries it back, starts a regroup for the Moose. Chip to the middle. Passed up now to Keel. Keel dumps it in for Palmer. 1:28 left here in the first period. Houston up by 2. Hayden Shivers behind his own net. Sends it out. Noah Plum on the boards. Attempted check. Ends up not working out for Wilson. And the Hawks send it out of the zone. Noah Plum back again with the puck on the red line. In his skates to Isaiah Squires. Squires across the blue line. Carries it down into the corner. Steps around the net now. Still holds on to it. On the near side, wheels around, buys himself some time, flips it to the middle. Deflection right in front, and Rogers can't bury it. Now Plum fires one in front. O'Rourke is eventually going to freeze it from a stoppage in play with 57 seconds left in the first period.
Well, I'm going to say this, that when we see the stats, not only will the Hawks be out shooting Palmer, but it's also been a lot more dangerous. We had Humphreys rung one off the crossbar. Lots of good scoring opportunities.
It looks like we're going to have a penalty here against Blake Rogers. A bit of a late call. I'm kind of confused on where that came from. Maybe after the play, or did we just miss it?
I didn't see it, but I will say that Rogers has been playing with an incredible amount of intensity. He's been hitting people, so really working hard.
Palmer wins the face-off. They send it in front of the net, but it's knocked away by the defense. Sent down the ice by Squires. That'll buy the Hawks some time here. Second penalty kill of the night for the Hawks, and now Palmer passes it out on the power play, right to Gillespie, who holds it and then sends it back down the ice. Intercepted in the middle by Shivers. Shivers to Riley Scott. Scott into the zone on a one-on-one, but he loses the puck. Sent out of the Palmer zone by the defense, and now Gillespie back to Reed Humphreys. Just 29 seconds left in the period as Humphreys ices it down. Travels to the near side. It's going to be Nealis to pick it out of the corner. He falls down on the play, leaves Riley Scott all alone. Scott moves up the ice, right to Squires in the middle. He fires, and it's deflected up and over the net. Now Nealis behind his own net, passes up to Keel. In Keel's skates with just 10 seconds left, he steps back and centers to Nealis. Palmer looks to move out of their own zone with just a couple seconds left in the period. And now pass to the middle, broken up by Gillespie, ends up with the puck. They fire, and they score with just 0 seconds left. It's going to be interesting to see. Are they going to count this or wave it off? It was really close.
Yeah, no, I think that was a good goal. It was top corner right before the buzzer sounded. That's got to be a good goal.
Bad turnover by the Houston D. They're going to leave the ice. Palmer has senior night festivities, and they're going to wave off the goal. Palmer's going to go into the second period down by 2. Yeah. You know, I think I agree with the call, and maybe I'm a bit biased, but when I'm watching that clock, you can see the clock right above the net. I think that one does enter a few seconds after the timer expires For instant replay, I guess you can go back and rewind to look at it on the video.
I was going off a sound, and I don't know if the buzzer is tied to when the clock goes to 0. But it looked to me like the puck did go in the net before I heard the buzzer sound. But you know, that's the way it goes. Quite frankly, I think it could very easily be 3-1 or 4-1. So I don't really think it matters at this point.
Yeah, you know, the call could go either way. It's a really, you know, we've seen it. The last 2 games Houston's played, 2 games against Glen Allen.
Yeah.
We've had a goal go in the last couple seconds. We've had one disallowed in the last couple seconds. That one was the closest one I've seen. It ends up going to the disallow. You know, we'll be curious to see, looking back on the game, whether it ends up being the right call, but it's the one you got to live with. The refs don't have instant replay. They can't send it up to Toronto. So, you know, Palmer's going to go into the second period down by 2. Frankly, I think they're lucky to be only down by 2. They were outworked by the Hawks that period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So even if that would have counted, it could very easily be 3 or 4-1. So
we'll be back in just a couple minutes with our stats from the first period. Palmer doing their senior night festivities here between the first and second, so a bit longer of an intermission. When we come back, we'll have those stats for you, and then a little later, the drop of the puck for the second period, so don't go anywhere. It's the Houston iHockey live broadcast game between the Hawks and the Moose.
As we prepare to introduce tonight's seniors,
We always get around. Watch me. Wow. Watch me. Wow. It's cool with fire, rain, and ice. It never made me think twice. Watch me. Wow. Get left behind. Don't get left behind. Don't get left behind. Don't get left behind. Don't get left behind. Are you cold? You're shivering. Oh, is it cold? It's just a breeze to me. I want your pain and memories. I give you both for free. And when the borders cross, I stand through the chaos, straight down the middle until I'm lost. Watch me walk. Watch me walk. It's cool with fire, rain, and ice. It never made me think twice. Watch me walk.
I'm not surprised. I mean, it's looking at some of the scores with teams in the Valley. Wasilla beat Palmer pretty handily, and Houston had a really good game against Wasilla last week. So I knew that it was going to be competitive, but I will say that it looks like Houston came out with a bit more of a step than Palmer did. I expected Palmer to come out a little bit more intense, senior night and all that, but I'm just wondering if maybe they took Houston a little bit for granted.
Yeah, Houston comes out with some fire. They get 2 quick goals. The first one comes from Tyler Shivers. He picks up assists from his line mates, Riley Scott and Aiden Ottengana. A great line play. They dig it out of the corner, center it right to Shivers, and he buries the go-ahead goal here in the first. Then JP Nix with a good forecheck digs it out from behind the net and throws one on net quickly. The goaltender for Palmer, TJ O'Rourke, isn't able to get back to the net in time. It sneaks in. Houston goes up by 2. Houston also had 2 penalties. Ottengana for elbowing and Blake Rogers for tripping. The last minute of Rogers' penalty will be served here in the first minute of the second period. For shots, Houston had 10. Palmer had 9. And bit of a quick play at the end of the period there. Houston turns it over right in front of the net. And they fire one. It goes in on Bolander, but the refs decided that the period had ended before it entered the net. And so Palmer goes into the second period down by 0. I will say we saw it happen in Glen Allen, where this happened to Houston at the end of the first. They got and that one was much more cut and dry, where they definitely did not score. But it almost motivated them to go out there. They came out with some real fire in the second. We'll see what Palmer does here. It's got to be, it's got to hurt to be stiffed on a shot that you think went in, that might, for all we know, might have gone in, as we're not able to go back and look at it right now.
Yeah,
but
it's a bit of a momentum killer. Definitely, you're down by 2 goals. You think you score one there at the end of the period, and then it's waved off. I will say that again, it could have very easily been at least 3-0. Reed Humphreys rung one off the crossbar. Yeah. There were a couple other really good opportunities that the Hawks had. I am surprised that the shots were 10-9. Maybe it's just that the Hawks had a lot more scoring opportunities, or that there was a lot more intense play in front of the Palmer net. There were some scrambles in front of the Houston net too, but definitely more intense in front of the Palmer net. And, as far as play goes, I'm really starting to see the Houston lines gel a little bit. I'm starting to see passes in the neutral zone, passes out of the defensive zone that are they're passes made without actually seeing the player get into position, but anticipating where the player is going to be your line mate. And that's really good to see for the Hawks.
So it'll be interesting to see if Palmer comes out with some more momentum, and which I fully expect from this Palmer Moose squad, and if Houston's able to match it. They've had games where they've pulled off a strong 3 periods of play, but sometimes you have that couple minutes where you're just off. You have that period where you're off. It's going to be key that Houston comes out and plays with the same level of intensity they brought in the early part of that first period. A bit of a longer break right here. We'll see what that does for both teams. It's been a really competitive game so far. I expect it to be really competitive and close here going into the second and third.
Yeah, I think we're in for some good action here in the second and third period.
We'll be right back then in just probably 10-15 minutes, as Palmer's still wrapping up senior night here at MTA. So it'll be a bit of a longer break. When we come back, though, we'll have the second period of hockey here from the MTA Sports Center in Palmer, Alaska. Make sure you stay tuned. It's the Houston iHockey live broadcast. Houston takes on the Palmer Moose tonight, and they go into the second period up by a score of 2-0.
Give me your hand and they will know who we are. This is what we started. This is what we started. They can't hold us down. They'll never be us. Never be us.
the slow brain shit. I live for the money now. I never was afraid to speak my mind. Baby's got a babysitter, a cocaine dealer. Stack up the money now. I'd rather be a hustler than a clown. When the world will be polluted by the ashes of the sun, ain't nobody gonna tell me where to run. If there is a God, she probably wants me to explore the universe. And if life is just a ride, it should be fun. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. My heart is going bang bang when I sing for you. I live for the moment now, being in a one subconscious mind. Maybe I'm a one-trick pony, but I ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, ride it, honey. Maybe I'm a master of the skies. When the world will be polluted by the ashes of the sun, ain't nobody gonna tell me where to run. If there is a God, she probably wants me to explore the universe. And if life is just a ride, it should be fun. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. Go to sleep in December, waking up and it's summer. Liberation of my life, moving into the light. And the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. The air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. So the air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up. The air is free, I do whatever I want, and I'm coming up.
Turn your back, you're a broken man. They come around and just dying to shake your head. I don't expect you to understand. Just keep telling yourself there's no shame. They don't know about who we are. They don't know about you and I. They ain't no blind by the stars of your eyes. Oh, hot blood love is gonna get you. Prove you're the better man. You wanna reach for the things that nobody can. All you need is to break away, yeah. Just keep telling yourself there's no shame. They don't know about who we are. They don't know about you and I. They ain't all blind by the stars of your eyes. hot blood love is gonna get her. And get up and get up again. Say get up and get up all you can. Get up and get up and get up again. Oh Lord, yeah Lord.
Welcome back to the Houston High Hockey Live broadcast game between the Houston Hawks and the Palmer Moose. We're getting ready here for the start of the second period. Houston's going to go into it up by 2 goals, but they have a bit of a penalty left to serve. 1:04 left in Blake Rogers' tripping penalty. Palmer sending out their top line here to try to put one in on the power play. Houston elects to send out Tyler Shivers, Aiden Ottengana, Gillespie, and Humphreys. 5-on-4 for a minute 4. And Tyler Shivers will win the opening faceoff against Kiel. Dumped down into the Palmer zone. Armstrong's there to pick it out, and he passes across to Welch. Welch back to Armstrong. In the skates now. Ottengana still in there. He waits, and he's going to let Armstrong move to the far side. Palmer moves into the neutral zone. It's Scully with the puck. He carries it into the Houston end. To the bottom of the circle. Waits and now passes to Kiel. Kiel steps to the top. Wheels around up to Armstrong. Armstrong back to Kiel. Kiel on the hash mark now in the Houston end. Right to the middle to Scully. He can't get a stick on it. Scully to the near side now in the corner. Back down to Wilson. And now back to Scully on the near side behind the net. Centers it right in front, and the Houston defense will just knock it away. Reed Humphreys with it, and he sends it down the ice. Knocked out of the air by Welch, however. 13 seconds left in Rogers' penalty. Welch steps around Ottengana to the near side and now moves up the ice across the red line. Welch into the Houston end. On the near side, carries it down, centers it, and there's no Palmer player there. Houston out of the box, as Squire sends it down, and Rogers has a 1-on-0 with the goalie. He's got Armstrong to beat. Knocked down on the play, O'Rourke just there, and Armstrong gets a stick on it and sends it out of the zone. Palmer dumps it into the Houston end. Gillespie's there. In the far side, passes to Humphreys on the near, in his own end. To the middle, can't find a stick. It goes down the ice, and we're going to have an icing call. Great chance there for Rogers. Armstrong with some tough D for Palmer. Doesn't allow him to get the shot off.
Yeah, Rogers came right out of the penalty box, right as the puck was in the neutral zone, and he had it.
So Isaiah Squire's line is now out there. 13:35 left in the second. Taking the face-off against Kiel. One to the side by Houston. Rogers chips it out to JP Nix. Nix gets tripped up by the blue line. It's picked up by Thiessen and carried back into the Houston end. Fired a shot, that's wide of the net. Rogers on the near side now. In his skates, he knocks Kiel down to the ice as he tried to come up and check him. Now it's sent down by Houston and another icing.
And I'm not sure if that was a bad spot on the ice or what, but they did not zam in between the first and the second periods. I didn't catch why that is. I don't know if it was because they
senior night, I think,
spent too much time in between periods or what, but
yeah, the ice is a little bit snowy here. They're going no zam in between. Squire's taking the face-off now in Houston's own end, and Kiel wins it back to Thiessen. Rogers tries to kick it away with the skate, but it's dumped back in by Hayes. Behind the Houston end, Kiel ends up with it, and he's knocked into the boards by Hayden Shivers. To the middle, play right in front. A shot is wide of the Houston net. Humphreys in the corner out to Rogers. Rogers chips it up. Thiessen will pick it up, pass across, deflected away by Nix into the boards, and it hit Austin Jones in the head. And she's going to pop back up now. She took one right to the dome on the Houston bench.
That's why you wear your helmets when you're a player on the bench there.
Well, Josh Schmolden is standing right next to her, and that's just poor backup goaltending because that puck flies directly into her face, and he's just standing there not doing anything.
Yeah, right now he's showing everyone his glove. It's too bad he didn't use it.
Well, there's nothing in it. Palmer wins the face-off. They carry it into the Houston end and fall down on the play. Hayden Shivers picks it up behind the net, sends it out, but it's stopped on the point by Palmer, sent back in. in the corner now. Going to be picked up there by David Moore. To the near side. Pass up the ice. Fired a shot. That's wide. Brooks up to the point. Dumped back in by Palmer. Into the corner behind the net. Moore steps, passes to Matlock. Matlock in the zone on his backhand. Back down to Moore. Riley Scott going for the puck. It's chipped up to the point. Pass back in. Hayden Shivers is there. He passes past Tyler Shivers and down the ice. Welch in his own zone. Will take it around the net. Then stop and come back to the near side. Pass up to Matlock. Matlock on the blue line. Knocked off the puck by Hayden Shivers. Gets it up to Hooks. Hooks in the Houston end. Fires one. Bollinger makes the glove stop and will have a stoppage in play.
I'm not seeing the same intensity by Houston here as we did in the first period. Palmer definitely is controlling play. More time in the Hawk zone. And not a lot of opportunities for Houston. No,
Houston needs a jolt right here. Palmer's definitely outworking him. Scully taking the face-off against Isaiah Squires. And Scully wins it back to Wilson. Centered, knocked out of the air by Wilson, then touched up to wave off the hand pass. Recentered, and Bollinger scoops it out of the air with the glove.
Yep. Nice job there by Bollinger. Kind of flipped up in the air right in front of him, and he got in his glove. Took it out of danger.
Isaiah Squires taking the face-off against Scully again. This time on the far side. He's got Humphreys and Gillespie on defense. Hooks, one right to him, and now a shot is knocked away by Bollinger. Wilson in the corner, knocked to the boards by Humphreys. A centering attempt broken up by Squires. Attempted pass broken up by Scully. Knocked into the boards, and now Squires carries it to the middle. Poked away by Rogers in the skates. Palmer sends it back to Hooks. Hooks dumps it into the Houston end. Noah Gillespie first one there on the hash mark. Passes behind the net. Going up in between Humphreys and Nixa. Palmer player scoops it out of there first. Scully in the corner. Fighting for it is Humphreys. He flips it to the middle, knocked out of the air. Now Rogers ends up with the puck. He's streaking down the ice. He's got Armstrong to beat. Armstrong comes in and trips him up. And we could have a penalty shot here against Palmer. It's going to be interesting. Trip or penalty shot. They might talk about it here. Either way, we're going to have a penalty.
I think you could call a penalty shot on there. This defensive skater was definitely behind him.
You know, Armstrong is coming. He wasn't completely behind him, and Asplund's going to call the trip. I think that ends up being the right call. I think that Rogers wasn't quite a step ahead of Armstrong, and so Armstrong is going to serve 2 minutes in the box here. And Houston goes on the power play for the first time tonight. This just might be the jolt that they need to kind of get back in control of this game. Here comes the power play line. Ottengana and Humphreys on the point. It's one back to Ottengana. He keeps it just inside the zone. Humphreys now carries it in as the Hawks set it up on the power play. Ottengana and Shivers taking up on the point. Shivers with it right in front of the net. Deflection knocked away. Up to Humphreys on the point. He passes to Ottengana. It's in Ottengana's skates. Over to Shivers. Tyler Shivers with the puck. Fires one that's wide. Goes up the ice to Ottengana on the point. Sends it to the middle. And knocked down the ice by number 12, RJ Avazak. Behind the net, Bollinger stops it. 1:28 left in the Houston power play. And the Hawks break it out of their own zone up to Ottengana. And we're going to have a penalty against Palmer here. Hawks have a 5-on-3 for now. Bollinger's at the bench, and the Hawks have a 6-on-4 opportunity. Passed up to Isaiah Squires. Squires holds it on the boards. Palmer still hasn't touched it up to Reed Humphreys. Humphreys down to Tyler Shivers. 6-on-4 opportunity for the Hawks. Over to Isaiah Squires. Squires shoots. Deflection into the air. And now Avazak sends it down the ice. They didn't maintain possession. Still no whistle. Reed Humphreys digs it out of his own end. 58 seconds left in the first penalty against Palmer. Humphreys regroups up to Squires. Squires on the red line. Tries to dump it in. Now here comes Palmer. A big hit. And eventually play is going to be stopped here. We're going to have a penalty on Palmer for slashing. Great possession for the Hawks. They have it for almost over a full 30 seconds, like 45 seconds there with a 6-on-4.
Well, the Palmer coaches were quite upset when Palmer chipped it out of the zone, but you do need to maintain possession, and it was kind of a chip out. Both players hit both players' stick.
The Hawks have a 47-second 5-on-3 opportunity. Then another minute and 13 left in the second penalty. The same line is out there for Houston. Tyler Shivers wins it back. Up to Ottengana. Ottengana down to Tyler Shivers. He's got no one on him, so he's got some time here in the corner. Tyler Shivers in the corner. Holds it. Pass out to Humphreys. Humphreys back to Shivers. Shivers at the top of the circle. Holds it up to Humphries. Humphries with some room. Fires one. Deflection right in front. And it's going to be O'Rourke coming up with the save. 29 seconds left in the 5-on-3.
This is where you really want to see the Hawks moving the puck around the perimeter. You have a 5-on-3. You need to move it around, get the defense moving. That'll open up the shooting lanes.
Scully with the face-off, loses it to Tyler Shivers. Reed Humphries on the point, deflects one away. Hayden Shivers now in the corner, passes up to Ottengana. Ottengana to Humphries. Humphries is all alone in the center of the ice, down to Shivers. Tyler Shivers, back up to Humphries. Humphries with a slap shot, and it's wide of the net. Deflection right on the back door, and they can't get a handle on it. Hayden Shivers over to Tyler Shivers on the top of the circle. Over to Ottengana, just 7 seconds left in the first penalty. Humphries on the slot, back to Ottengana. Ottengana with the shot, deflected up and away. First penalty's expired, Hawks on the 5-on-3. Deflected away from the net off a backhand from Humphries. Riley Scott in the corner now. Tries to pass to Hayden Shivers, it's knocked away from him. Tyler Shivers comes in, but it's sent up and off the glass out of the zone. Good kill for Palmer here. And now Reed Humphries has it in his own zone. Brooks tries to step up against him, but Humphries wheels around as Palmer gets a change. Reed Humphries across the red line, carries it into Palmer's end. Down into the corner, around the net to the near side. Moves up, passes to Squires. Squires across the ice to Ottengana. Ottengana at the top of the circle. Elects to shoot. Wide of the net. Riley Scott in the corner now. Centers it to Ottengana. In his skates. He pokes it away from the Palmer forward. Now he dumps it in, but picked up there by Thiessen, sent down the ice. 26 seconds left in the Hawks' power play opportunity. And Noah Gillespie will start the breakout from behind the net. 20 seconds left now as he holds it. Hayden Shivers on the swing through. And back to Gillespie. Gillespie up to Nix. Nix to Gillespie. Gillespie at the blue line. Neutral zone. In the skates to Rogers. Rogers across the blue line. He fires a shot and just barely knocked away by O'Rourke. Thiessen up the ice now, and that's going to do it for the Houston power play as Palmer killed off the 5-on-3. Hayden Shivers behind his own net up to Noah Gillespie. Goes to Rogers. Rogers to Squires. Squires across the red. Into the Palmer zone. On the top of the circle. Wheels around, buys some time. To Rogers, he can't get a handle on it. Now it's chipped away by the Palmer defense. And they come out of their zone. Wilson across the Houston blue line. Poked away by Gillespie. Up to Thiessen. Knocked into the boards by Rogers, and Gillespie takes it away. Now Gillespie's coming down on Welch. He steps to the middle across the blue line. He wheels around Welch on the backhand. Fires a shot, and O'Rourke barely knocks it away. Still in the Palmer end. In the corner. Thiessen picks it up. Sends it to Hooks. And it's deflected down the ice. Reed Humphries skating forward against Wilson. Humphries beats him to the puck. Comes up the near side. Across the blue. Steps to the middle. Across the Palmer blue. Down in the zone. He's got him beat. He fires. And he scores! Reed Humphries skates around all the Palmer forwards and the defense. And then beats O'Rourke on the far side. Houston goes up by 3.
Great individual effort there by Humphries.
Yeah, he's kind of locked up with the passing options. Palmer covering all of the Houston skaters. Humphries skates it up with some speed, and he beats O'Rourke on the far side. That puts the Hawks up by 3. Face off. Tyler Shivers loses it back, and Palmer will carry it the other way. Down into the Houston end. Knocked behind, and Bolander sends it to Ottengana. Ottengana chips it to Tyler Shivers. Shivers across the blue. Passes, and intercepted by the Palmer D. Back to Tyler Shivers. He carries it in on sides, dumps it to the corner. O'Rourke behind his net to the near side now. It's going to be Keel with the puck. He gets it stolen away by Scott. Now Armstrong fighting for it in the corner. Eventually back to Keel, who carries it into the neutral zone. Pass up to Avesak on the far side. Steps past Hayden Shivers, but Shivers knocks him down to the ice. Passed up the boards to the Palmer D. Keel fires one, and Bollinger makes the save, pokes it away. Hayden Shivers now passes up to Ottengana. Ottengana knocked down on the play. Armstrong picks it up. And now Palmer fighting for it on the hash marks. To Tyler Shivers, who sends it down the ice. It's deflected, so no icing on the play. 6:19 left in the second period as Appel picks it up behind his own net. JP Nix out there on the forecheck. Picks it off to Squires. Squires fires. And O'Rourke with the save. It trickles behind. And it goes in. They score! The Hawks get a trickler past O'Rourke. And they go up by a score of 4-0. That one barely trickles behind the goal line. And it's going to be interesting if Squires gets the goal or if one of the Hawks forwards is going to poke it past. We'll have to see here. But it's another goal for the Hawks.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it crossed the goal line, but I did see 2 Hawks players rushing in after the puck there.
Palmer wins the face-off now and send it down the ice. Gillespie stops it in his own zone, flips it to the air. Gets it to Squires in the neutral zone. Squires across the blue, 3-on-2 to Rogers. Rogers slap shot, deflection in front, and O'Rourke with a nice freeze. So it is going to be Squires with the goal. He gets the assist from JP Nix and Blake Rogers. Another instance where the entire line gets a point on it. That's just great team effort, and it's great to see these Hawks lines gelling together here in the last week of the regular season.
Well, and I think that play was really made by JP going after the defenseman who had the puck. And the defenseman kind of sent a weak pass out of into the slot because it looked like he was concerned that Nix was going to hit him, and that's what kind of all set it up.
Squires ties up his man, and Palmer collects it. Stopped on the point by Rogers, but it's chipped out into the neutral zone. Humphreys sends it back behind the net. Houston on the forecheck now. Rogers is going to curl away as they're off sides. Palmer turns it over to Squires. Now it's poked through to Matlock. Matlock across the Houston blue. Steps to the middle, and the puck is knocked away by Bollinger. Up to JP Nix, who pokes it into the neutral zone. Squires and Ottengana moving forward for the Hawks, and we're going to have a penalty.
Have an interference on the Palmer player. I don't know why he was holding up one of the forwards for no apparent reason. At least that's what it looked like to me.
Looks like it could be on the Hawks, however.
Maybe they're calling the Hawks for interference, but two players came together, and the puck wasn't anywhere close to him, so.
It's going to be Isaiah Squires going to the box for interference. You know, I think I have to disagree with this one. I almost think it was Squires that was held up by the Palmer player.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me as well. I don't know if the 4-0.
In any case, we're not on the ice. We don't get to make the calls, and Houston goes on the penalty kill here for the third time tonight. It's 5:23 left in the second period. Palmer with another power play chance, and Tyler Shivers wins it back to Humphreys, who sends it down the ice. Palmer in the neutral zone. Thiessen across to Welch. Welch on his own blue, up the ice to Wilson. Wilson carries it into the Houston end, fires one that's knocked away by Bollinger. Reed Humphreys will send it, but it's kept in by Welch. A nice play with the knees. Holds it in for Palmer. In the corner, centering attempt broken up by Humphreys. Loses it to Thiessen. He fires one, deflection right on the back door, but Gillespie with a great play pokes it away. Aiden Ottengana sends it down the ice, and Houston gets a brief respite here. 1:25 left in the penalty kill as Welch holds it in his own zone. Tyler Shivers lets him sit there, and now it's a pass out to Wilson. Wilson steps to the middle. He beats Shivers. Now he's coming in on Ottengana. On the red, elects to dump it behind the net. Bollinger's out there to stop it. He leaves it for Gillespie. Gillespie passes past a Palmer player, then dumped right back. Keel behind the Houston net. He's got some time here. Passes out to Thiessen. On the hash mark, a shot is fired, and Bollinger with a great glove save keeps Palmer scoreless.
So the penalty was actually on Riley Bollinger. They called him for a trip when he came out to play the puck. And so they actually called him for a trip when he poke-checked the puck. And that's why Squires is serving a penalty for his goalie.
Huh. Houston wins the face-off. It's back to Humphreys. Humphreys sends it all the way around the boards and down into the Palmer end. Yeah, that's a weird penalty. You don't usually see that. Bollinger does love to play the puck, and I imagine that was bound to happen sooner or later. Palmer now breaks it out of their own zone. Riley Scott knocks him off the puck, steps to the middle. He's tripped up by the puck, but then Reed Humphreys sends it back to the Palmer D. Now Palmer moves to the neutral zone of Azak. Tries to dump it past. Doesn't quite make it. Picked up by Welch and sent down into the Houston end. Hayden Shivers in the corner is going to touch it, and we're going to have a possible penalty against the Hawks, it looks like. It's going to be Riley Scott going to the box, and it looks like it's going to be for... Didn't catch the call, but Riley Scott in the box for the Hawks. Now Houston has a chance here to kill off a 5-on-3 power play. They got 26 seconds of 5-on-3.
Well, if I know Riley Scott, it's probably for a rough.
Probably. Houston wins the face-off. Back to the corner. Reed Humphreys right in front. He sends it down the ice. A great play by Houston. 18 seconds left and the Hawks' first penalty. And you are exactly right. It is Riley Scott in the box for roughing. 11 seconds now in the first penalty as Welch moves it up the ice. Carries it into the Houston end. Down the boards. Shivers knocks it away to Keel. Keel at the top of the circle. Carries it down. Passes up to Thiessen. Thiessen on the blue line. He tries to poke it away, loses the stick. No, Ottengana comes down. 1-0. He's coming in. On O'Rourke. Thiessen going to catch up. He knocks Ottengana off the play. What a defensive play by the Palmer Moose. Thiessen breaks his stick, and then what a back check. Keel at the red line. Carries it in for Palmer. He's knocked off the puck by Tyler Shivers. Now here comes Reed Humphreys. Reed Humphreys across the red line. Carries it in. He fires, and a save by O'Rourke with the leg. Palmer passes up the ice to Keel. They look to slow things down here. Scully in the zone, to the middle, right in front, and Bollinger deflects it away. Ottengana now pokes it out of the Palmer end and down the ice. 55 seconds left in the kill. A couple great chances for Houston. Wilson collects it on his own hash mark. Passes to the middle. Ottengana intercepts and sends it down the ice. O'Rourke out to stop the puck. Appel is going to dig it out of the corner. 41 seconds left in the Palmer power play. Avezak on his own blue. Gets it past Ottengana. Now across the red. Now across the blue. Steps to the top of the circle, back to Hooks. Hooks holds it. Pass to the middle. Deflected away from the net. Hooks centers again, and Bollinger stoops it up with the glove.
Great back and forth action there.
Yeah, a couple great chances for both teams. Unfortunate turn of events for Thiessen as he breaks his stick on the blue line. That was definitely the most exciting, as Thiessen back checks without the stick and knocks Ottengana off the puck in the slot.
Yeah, you can tell that was a senior who did not want to give up a fifth goal.
Thiessen isn't a senior.
Oh,
but
I thought he was a senior.
No, but a good play nonetheless. Houston with 20 seconds left on the penalty kill. They ice it down. That's going to do a good job of killing off most of it. Palmer with enough time for one more rush. Armstrong behind his own net. He stops. Now steps to the near side. Up the ice to Avezak in his skates. Centers. Over and across. And now into the Houston zone. To the slot. Deflected up and into the boards behind the net. Bollinger out of the net to stop it. He covers it. And Houston is now at full strength. Great penalty kill from the Hawks. Palmer with the first 5-on-3. They kill it off. Now the Hawks have done the same. So some great penalty kill from both teams this period.
Yeah, this has been an exciting period. The Hawks did not have a lot of intensity until Humphrey scored that goal, and then it's picked up.
Houston wins the face-off. Just 1:40 left in the second period. Ottengana carries it up, and he's knocked into the boards by Welch. Now Palmer passes out and back to Gillespie. Gillespie pokes it over, and it goes back to the Palmer defense. Passed up to Brooks. Brooks centers it right to the middle. Now they carry it into the Houston end. A shot is deflected over the net by Gillespie. Brooks behind the net. Pokes it up to Moore. Moore to the point. A shot is wide. Now Gillespie fights for it on the hash mark. Pokes it out and carries it to the neutral zone. Knocked off the puck there by Moore. Moore passes to the middle. Poked away by Ottengana. Palmer D still ends up with it. They center it now to the neutral zone. Poked through. Carried into the Houston zone. Humphreys is there. Gets poked away from him. Now Gillespie tries to poke it away. And he knocks Moore down to the ground. That's Riley Scott with the hit. Humphreys across the Palmer blue. 50 seconds left in the period. Humphreys centers, but the man in front is tied up by the Palmer defense. Another centering attempt by Houston. Gets taken away by the Palmer D. And now it's going to be Welch that steps to the middle. He's got a lot of black and red in front of him, though. He carries it to the far side. Around Hayden Shivers. A shot is over the net. Goes over to the far side. Isaiah Squires racing for it. Poked away by Scully. Back to Humphreys. Humphreys on his own blue. Into the neutral zone. Across the blue line now. Steps to the middle. Fires a shot. And he scores! Reed Humphreys with his second of the night. And Houston goes up by 5.
Boy, that is a tough shot for the goalie to save. Upper left corner. Coming right across the slot. Really what you need is you need your teammates in front of you to put the body on that skater, but Humphreys is so fast, he's so big. Not much of a chance for O'Rourke on that shot.
I almost thought Palmer had some of the momentum back there, but then Houston skates it down the ice and scores top corner on O'Rourke. Noah Plum is centering a line now with Rhea Stiers and Cody Dreyer. They got Gillespie and Hayden Shivers on defense here for the last 21 seconds. Palmer dumps it in, goes behind the net. Bollinger is there to stop it. Tries to pass it past Hayden Shivers. He ends up hitting him. Palmer steps in behind the net, and it's poked away by Noah Plum. Lost in the skates. Back to Scully. Scully centers it, but there's no one there. 5 seconds left. Palmer in the Houston end. They have a chance for one more shot here. Appel tied up in his skates, and the period is over. The Hawks extend their lead to 5. They put up another 3 goals on Palmer. So after 2, it's Houston 5, Palmer 0. When we come back, we'll have our second period stats. And then a little bit later, the drop of the puck for the third, as we're live here from the Palmer Ice Arena MTA Event Center here in Palmer, Alaska. Stay tuned. It's the Houston Ice Hockey live broadcast Houston 5, Palmer 0.
I left my heart in Amsterdam, where I could dream the nights were long. I left my heart in Amsterdam, I hit my head against the wall. Again and again and over. Again and again and then over, again and again and then So I held my head up against the wall, over and over and over and over again and again, 'cause I don't wanna be like them. I held my head up against the wall, over and over and over and over again and again and again. Oh, I left my heart in Amsterdam. I left my heart in Amsterdam. Oh, I left my heart in Amsterdam. I really need that feeling back. You don't know who you are. The road's gonna take and make you walk too far. You're a liar, you're a thief, you're a star, but you don't know who you are. You were just a kid with a sentimental heart, afraid of what'll happen before you will start. And you don't need the baggage, and you don't need the stuff, and you don't need nobody to fill your empty cup. Be who you are, baby, you're a star. Never give up, Coltrane. Never be a slave to your own name. You're a poet, you're a fake, you're a star, but you don't know who you are. We can shine a light here inside the dark and get a little close to the lonely spot. When there's nothing left to win and you can only lose what's keeping you from doing what you always wanna do. Be who you are. Be who you are. Baby, you're a star. Be who you are. Lately, I've been feeling like the stars are rolling out for me. Stars are rolling out. Lately, I've been feeling, but the stars
are rolling out for me, stars are rolling out. But maybe they're misleading. Is it just the light reflecting off the street? You were just a kid with a sentimental heart, and do it for yourself, and do it for the art. But you don't need the baggage, you don't need the stuff, and you don't need nobody to fill your empty cup.
Remember when we were young, breaking every rule they made. I never changed what we done, it made us who we are today. I'm taking every chance I get to make it so you won't forget who we are, who we are. It's what we started. It's what we started. They can't hold us down. They'll never be, never be, never be, never be us. Remember we used to run to the corner of 69. Yeah, they would come chasing us. We find a new place to hide out, making our plans to break out. Give me your hand and they will know who we are. It's what we started. This is what we started. They can't hold us down. They'll never be, never be us. Never be, never be us.
Welcome back to the Houston High Hockey live broadcast game between the Hawks and the Palmer Moose. Let's look at our second period stats. Hawks and Palmer both had a total of 9 shots on goal and a total of 4 penalty minutes, but the difference maker is the goal. The goals, the Hawks have a total of 3 goals in that second period. Palmer has none. Hawks are up by 5.
Yeah, and again, lots of more dangerous opportunities for Houston. So the shots are equal. Bollinger did make a couple of really nice saves, but definitely more pressure on the Palmer goalie. You know, in baseball, pitchers have stress pitches and normal pitches. This is definitely stressful shots in front of Palmer.
We'll be right back with the start of the third period in just a second. Don't go anywhere. It's the Houston High Hockey live broadcast game between the Hawks and the Moose.